Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from.
And good evening as well.
Good evening as well. Yes. Good tomorrow to some people also. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to episode 4 of the Lightworkers Lounge. We have an amazing show today. I'm so excited. I'm Sarah from Hibiscus Healings, and I am joined with my beautiful co-host, Donna Marie from Healing Readings by Donna Marie. We're so happy you decided to spend part of your day with us today. We truly appreciate it. And we couldn't do shows like this without you. I mean, I guess we could, but it wouldn't be as fun. It would just be us talking to each other, and, that would be less fun. So today, the topic that we have is mediumship. So bring your questions, anything you ever wanted to know about mediumship. We have 2 amazing guests that you're just going to absolutely adore, and you're going to learn so much from today. So put your questions in the chat. We are not taking personal questions today, but those of you who have been with us on the Lightworkers Lounge journey know that at the end, you will get one lucky winner will win a free reading by our guests at the end of the show. So type in #spirit, and we will do the drawing at the end of the show. And yeah, that's it. So Donna Marie, would you like to introduce our guests?
Okay, I sure would. So today we not only have one, but we have 2 gifted psychic mediums. So please help us welcome Jean from Sun Psychic Jean and Gerald from Tarot Stash. And so hi, Jean. Hi, Gerald. How are you today?
I'm very excited.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is amazing.
I'm very excited, and I have a lot of nervous energy because I always want to provide information and from my experience with clarity and accuracy to help people. I don't want to confuse people. So I just decided to go with the flow. And if it doesn't make sense, the 3 of you are going to help it make sense to everybody.
So. It's going to make sense because it's going to come out how it's supposed to.
True.
Exactly. So if I would love you both to introduce yourself. So Jean, can we start with you, and then Gerald will, and just tell us a little bit about you and how you came about mediumship.
Yeah. So I'll start with the end. I don't gatekeep the most important part. The most important part is mediumship was and is the hardest thing I've ever had to learn and to develop. And it is absolutely the most rewarding, the most informational, the most life-changing, and the most support that I have experienced by going through this, not only in my own transformation in developing my mediumship, but just the awareness and the depth of information that comes through from your loved ones and from spirit guides and angels. It's mind-blowing, and I am absolutely surprised and in awe. Every time I do a reading, I learn something new, and it changes me, and it helps me to have belief and confidence and a knowing and a reassurance that there is no price tag on that, on contentment. And so that's a little bit about my mediumship. I did start with Reiki, like Donna Marie. I moved into crystal healing, then moved into shamanic energy healing, and then I moved into taking some psychic classes and went into mediumship. And oh my goodness, when I went into mediumship, all of those came in together, and I'm able to integrate them and make my readings, or what I offer and what I deliver, unique to me.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
that's amazing.
I've seen you live, Jean, and I've had a reading from you, and you're phenomenal. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So yes, thanks for joining us. Gerald, please tell us, how did you get into mediumship? Like, where did this all come from?
I started with tarot. I have always had a sense of knowingness, and very, very intuitive, very empathic. And about 30 years ago, I started studying tarot. And while I was reading tarot, suddenly I would be communicating stuff that I didn't know from where it was originating. And I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like something that I would say. So recently, probably within the last 5 or 6 years, meeting people like Sun Psychic Jean and being invited to do mediumship specific readings has given me an understanding of this is something that I have been able to do for a long time, but I didn't know what it was called. And by having a name for it, it gave me the ability to go, oh, that's what's going on. And then I can start to give the mediumship some structure to support it and to allow it to grow and develop, because it's like a muscle. So that's me.
Wow. Thank you. So that kind of leads us into our first question is, what is mediumship and how does mediumship work? So Gerald, can we start with you on that one?
Sure. Yes. For me, mediumship is about connecting people with departed loved ones, or people who, I think a medium is someone who communicates with beings formerly in the physical world. So there's this, that's why when, a relative, pets also, that someone who there was a great connection to. And so that's how I see it. Yeah, okay, I'll just stop there. And how it works is it just depends upon the individual, but I am a vessel, so I am actually connecting with, and it's like a radio. For those of you who are old enough to remember radios, we actually had to turn the dial and you get the tune in and the frequency. This is where I have to tune in so that I can get clarity of that message from, as well as the energy from the person for whom I'm reading and the person for whom they want me to connect with. So there's lots of different ways to develop it, but it's sort of making sure that I have myself out of the way to hear and trust what I'm receiving. So I'm going to stop there. What do you think, Jean?
But really quick, before Jean answers, I just want to, Venus is saying, not sure why my posts are disappearing. That's been happening all week. So if you post is disappearing, just repost it, because I've been seeing a lot of people. I'm not sure if you've experienced it, but something's going wonky with chat. So just post it again and I'm watching for it. Sorry for that interruption. I just wanted to let the chatters know that there has been issues with YouTube and StreamYard.
Yeah.
So mediumship for me is sort of, I'm a liaison between you and your loved one, or you and your pet, which is your loved one. And I am here to interpret the messages that they are giving me. And in mediumship classes, they always say, you're not working for your client, you're working for spirit. And spirit knows what to say and what's important for your client to know or understand. And it's always trying to make sure that the client understands, but really it's most important for me to make clear what the spirit has to say. So like Gerald said, being a vessel, being a clear channel, being a liaison for the loved one on the other side, and having clear communication come through so that you can understand. But it's also a little bit of education for the sitter, is what we call it, or the client. And it's important for them to be open-minded, because sometimes information comes through that's for your in-laws or from your seventh grade teacher in high school, or it could be, they showed me boots one time, and I'm like, well, I'm not sure why. And then they said it's the name of the town has something to do with boots. Like, keep just because I see something and I say something, try not to take everything literally. And they tell me this in our classes: don't take things so literally and think that the message is boots. It could be something around boots. It could be something that sounds like boots. It could be a name of a town, boots. But at this time it was literal boots. But just keep an open mind. So it's important for us to educate our clientele and our potential customers for them to understand what their participation needs to be, in order for me to understand the clarity and the information that the spirit guide wants to communicate. So mediumship for me is like a liaison, or like a three-way call. But I do, like Gerald said, try to stay out of the way and just communicate with you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
On the
wow.
note, when you're speaking about how you might get the word boots, but it has nothing to do with actual boots, do you find, as you've been working in mediumship and communicating with a lot of different past loved ones, do you find that there's different levels of how they're able to communicate? Like, maybe there's some that can communicate more clearly, and some that will use maybe a similar word versus like the actual words?
I do. Because something that Jean said that I think is really important is, as one develops their mediumship skills, you get to learn your language and what something means, and how it connects. So there's that. Yes, it may be the word, but also it's more often than not, it's the feeling behind that word. That sometimes, when I got good advice from Sun Psychic Jean, just trust it. You don't need to know what it means. Just say it, but then talk. For me, this is Gerald's thing. I talk about how I'm feeling when I have that word, boots or powdered donuts. It's like, I don't know what that means, but it's just important, because I may not have the right word choice for the person for whom I'm reading, but that energy around it, they may go, oh, that's sort of like such and such. And I'm like, bing, that's exactly what that is. Did I answer your question?
I really want to
Yes.
ask, what is the weirdest thing that you got that you went, no, I don't know about this? Is there?
Do you want
can
me
you
to
talk
explain
about
that one, Jean?
You can go first. I'm not sure which one you're laughing at, but go ahead.
I'm laughing at the one that was with you, because I was reading for someone's father. I was communicating with his father, and sometimes, this is an interesting thing. Sometimes the messages, I'm not the right person to connect with that person. My energy just doesn't quite plug in with theirs. But I was reading for this guy, and I was feeling the connection. And then I'm like going, I just have to say this. I don't know why, but I'm seeing him. His mouth is covered with like powdered donut stuff. And, I don't know why, but I'm just doing that. Sure enough, his father used to love powdered donuts, and it was perfect. And I was like going, okay, I'm glad I said it. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you never know. It could mean absolutely nothing to you, but
Yeah.
the absolute most to the person. How about you, Jean? What was your weirdest experience?
Well, the more obscure and outrageous, the more important the message is, what I feel. And one time I tuned in to somebody's either father or uncle or somebody, and they showed me like a plumber's crack, if you know what that is. And I was really taken back, and I was like, are they like a funny guy or a jokester? And they're like, that's his humor. That's him. That's him. They knew right away it was their loved one. And I had to say it. And I was shocked. And I have to go with what I see. And when you see it, it's like a flash. So it's not like you have to analyze it, but so it's important that you say these things. And then there's others that want to express friskiness, like husbands that are on the other side, and their wives are still here. They still think you're you're a looker. You're still the object of their desire. I want to explain that they don't change.
You're simply the best is what I got recently, and I'm like, good, because when I set up some boundaries so that I'm like going, okay, I want to be able to say this in front of, in a public setting. Yeah. And so I was checking in with this guy, and I'm like going, okay, give me a way to say this. And it was like I heard Tina Turner, simply the best, and she understood it. And it's like, okay, there you go.
So before our next question, we do have some questions in the chat. So one of them is, can you be a medium and not a clairvoyant? And that's going to lead into our next question, actually.
Well, I think that not all psychics are mediums, but all mediums are psychic. And you specifically said clairvoyant. You can be psychic in a different way. You can be clairknowing, clairaudient, and clairsentient, and not clairvoyant. So you don't have to be clairvoyant in order to be a medium, but you can use your other senses. And so I say yes, technically this question said clairvoyant and not psychic. But yes, you can be a medium and not clairvoyant.
Yes. Thank you, Jean. Okay, and then the next one, which led into this, is how does mediumship differ from channeling or other modalities?
Well, I think that channeling for me would be more of a trance channeling or a trance mediumship, where you allow the energy to use your voice to communicate firsthand or translate a message that is verbatim or, and so that is what I feel channeling is, but we all call it, I'm channeling your donkey, or I'm channeling your grandfather. It's a term used to connect and to relay messages. And so it's a description in a term, but, technically channeling is with one source and allowing them a longer access and a more, a whole message that comes from them or comes through you. How about you, Gerald?
For me, the distinction is mediumship is talking to or communication for departed loved ones, people who have been in the 3D world, and channeling is for non-physical entities. And that's something that medium Betsy Palmer helped me understand, because I've done both. I've done mediumship, or I do both. I do mediumship and channeling. And that's like, okay, it's all different types of entities, but not just the deceased. And you're right, Jane. You have to really, because it can be trance channeling. With mediumship, I'm pretty much fully present, because I'm sort of I'm navigating that and trying to make sure that I'm getting a clear message. With the channeling, I'm not necessarily aware of what's going on and what is coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I always figured it was like Gerald, like previously alive humanoid people, animals, versus beings who had never been human. It's kind of how I always kind of differentiated it. But I really like how Jean went into the distinction between how much you, I don't want to, I guess, are taken over. And I say that because I had a very weird experience in a restaurant on my 20th anniversary. There was this kid who was in distress, not really in distress. He was just annoyed that he was being ignored because he dropped his crayon. And I started getting like really agitated. I was like, oh, what's going on? And I was like, poor kid. And then all of a sudden I stood up, stomped over there, like literally stomped, picked up his crayon, put it on the table and stomped back to my table. And then I sat down and I was like, what the hell what just happened? Like I had no freaking clue. I was looking at my husband and everyone, it seemed like nobody realized I did it because everyone was acting normal. But I was like, that freaked me out. And that was the only time I had ever been taken over. And I didn't allow it. It just happened. And it was scary. Have you guys ever had an experience that was kind of like, ooh, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Donna.
So because there's so many different modalities, and by the way, I just shared everybody's link. Hopefully they got them on all channels. I just want to make sure everybody, like, please subscribe if you haven't already, to Jean, Sun Psychic Jean, to Gerald to Tarot Stash, and to Sarah Hibiscus Healings if you're from any of the other ones. So because I have had readings from both of you, you are amazing. And the people that come in that you're not expecting, that come into your readings and you're going, well, I wasn't expecting that, but that really blew me away. And it stays with you all day and for days after. And that's how much you affect somebody when you read. So I want to let you know how much it really does, like, really stay with you and resonates for days. And you know, and some of it is really healing to have that communication. So, you know, if anybody hasn't already, and if you want to talk to somebody, one of your loved ones, or even your pets, it is so healing. And I think we forget how much, you know, when you're doing the readings and you're like, yeah, this is my gift, but you really do help so many people. So I want to take a moment to say thank you, because, you know, I've seen how you both have affected people. And
thank you, Donna. That was sweet.
Yeah, just yeah. So everybody, if you get a chance, please. So that, I'm sorry, I interrupted. Now we're going to go into, how does mediumship differ from channeling? Oh, nope, we already did that one. Sorry. And what does genuine contact feel like? Like Sarah, who's like, what the heck?
Yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes for me, the genuine contact, it feels correct. It feels genuine and authentic. It does not feel saccharine in the sense that it's fake. And for that genuine contact, sometimes when I first start doing mediumship, there's a few minutes of getting into the rhythm and the energy flow. And it's almost like it's just like charging the air, just to go, okay, the receptivity is there. And so genuine contact for me feels there's a clarity, and there's I'm tuned in to, once I know that this is the correct energy, it's like, oh, got it. It's loud, it's clear. For me, one of my tells is oftentimes I will get tingling down my back and on my left side. That's one of the things that I'm looking, okay, I'm in the right area. I'm doing something correctly. What about you, Jean?
So it's different for each one of your loved ones. And sometimes they come through with a very high vibration. Sometimes they come through with an angelic vibration and unconditional love overwhelmingly sending in. Sometimes they come in very shy, very hesitant, and non-communicative. And so each one is a little bit different. And it's important for the sitter or the client or the querent to participate and to validate whether or not they feel that this resonates with them, because the loved one that we're connecting with is with you. They're not with us. We're not going, we feel it up here, but they're with you. They're always with you. They're always around you. And when we're connecting to your loved one, we go to your energy and then connect with your loved one. I feel it here, but it's still, I'm connecting to you. So it's my ability to connect to you and then to your loved one, but it comes through differently. So the genuine aspect would be the validation from the client or the querent. And when I feel that, it does feel like a magnet. Like I sometimes say it's like a party line out here, like somebody's grandmother Mary coming through. And I feel like a general holler back or a yes. And then once I say she wore dark red lipstick, yeah, she always wore dark, then I feel like a magnet comes in, and or there's a party line or a direct line that goes through instead of a party line. It's more of a pointed and refined communication that comes through, that I'm connected to her and only her. But even with that, sometimes other grandmother-like energies will come through blended, and other people in the chat will say, well, that sounds like my grandmother too. It is. When they come through blended and they want to take this opportunity while I'm speaking with that person to come through and share what they have to say. So the genuine aspect is about the validation is most important for me, but you can feel it too, like Gerald said.
Yeah. So Whispers from Heaven with Jenny, she says, when you began hearing from the other side, did you begin to hear from one or two for a while, or did everyone come through freely from the beginning?
When I was in the beginning, when I was first learning, I wasn't always able to get a message. It took me a long time to get I always say, I shift my state of consciousness and raise my vibration in order to connect to your loved ones. And in the beginning, when I was first practicing on Allie Martin's channel, Heart and Soul Connected, for me to do that and to connect to your loved one took me like 5 minutes. And Allie was the most patient person in the world. I'd be like there with my eyes closed. And as soon as that muscle started getting stronger and stronger, it got a little easier. So I hope that answered your question there, Jenny.
That is a good answer, because a lot of people, I know I've heard it a lot in the chats and stuff. They're like, well, I don't think I can do it because I'm not getting anything. But it takes practice. It takes a while. And what Gerald pointed out something earlier, where when you're starting a session, I always kind of say the first couple are they're not going to be as good as 5, because you have to build up that energy. So sometimes when you're connecting, the connection gets stronger the longer you're doing it versus when you're just sitting down. Do you guys find that to be true as well?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Before a show, there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing that people don't see, even before I sit down to get backstage. Because if I am not, I think a big part for me is I need to be fit and in the right spiritual frame to be able to be that conduit and deliver that message. And if I'm distracted, if I, haven't done the things that I need, said my prayers, set my own boundaries, that's an important thing. So, Jean, anything to add to that?
Nope, that's everything. That was everything.
I know, like with others and myself, like when I start doing readings, sometimes I'll have spirit that come in, but I can't say that I'm a medium due to I'm not able to sit and say, okay, can somebody come in? Because they kind of come in when they want to. I'm not trained yet to get there. But I have more questions for you, Jean and Gerald, about classes, but we have other people asking them as well. So, so what does genuine contact feel like? We just asked that, or did I just put that up? Yeah. And then our next one is, can anyone become a medium, or is it a special gift?
In the same way that anybody can sing, but it depends on how much you practice and how much you have a natural talent and how much you love it and enjoy it and want to pursue it. And it takes work, it takes practice, it takes tenacity, it takes bravery, it takes putting yourself out there. So everybody has the ability to connect to their own loved ones, to connect to the other side. It's a very natural ability for everybody. And however, in order to do this for others and to do it as a YouTube or a profession, it's important for somebody to be dedicated and really well practiced.
I love how you equated it to singing. That was beautiful. It just like click when you said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people, some people, it comes from the bloodline. Their grandmother had it, and so that's fine. And that's absolutely doable. I think for me, I think it's one of those things that it's natural for some and developable for others. Others can develop it, and it's optional for everyone. If this isn't something that is connecting with you, you don't understand it, if you don't have an interest, don't try to do it, because guess what? There's lots and lots of different ways to connect with energy around you. Mediumship is just one option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So then,
and you can't force it. It can't be something you just say, I want this to happen. I want it, give it to me. I want to be able to do this. You can't force it. And a lot of people, especially when they're first starting out, try to make it happen quicker. And that, I think it puts energetic blocks on you when you're especially when you're starting out. Like, it keeps you from connecting.
I think it's unfortunate people are trying to force it, because if they were just to, Gerald's bit of advice for entertainment purposes only, if you were just to connect with where you are and how you are feeling energetically, and pay attention, as Jean had said, our relatives are always around us. We just have to be willing to open our eyes and look differently to see and recognize the way they're connecting with us. So
Tiffany Tidsdale asks, I have been told I'm a medium. How can I develop that and believe in myself?
Practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And, sometimes people use the term a little loosely. And I had somebody come up to me, I do psychic fairs, and she came up to my booth and she goes, I had to tell you. And I said, oh, did you want a reading? And she goes, no, I just wanted to tell you I'm a medium. And I said, oh, do you have a booth here? Are you exhibiting? She said, no. I said, oh, do you have a channel? And she's like, no. And I said, oh, what makes you say that you're a medium? And she said, I saw my brother's, or my boyfriend's brother. He appeared to me, so I'm a medium. And technically seeing spirits is one part of it, but being a medium and having ability to connect to the other side, I think, are two different things. I think a medium is somebody that connects your loved one with you. A medium is somebody in between. If you see spirits and you talk to spirits, then you have that ability of connecting to them. It doesn't always mean that you are a medium. A medium would be somebody, it's this 3-person type of phenomena. But it's not that she couldn't be a medium, and it's just that she may not have been using the terminology in the sense that I understood it, which is fine. But in your case there, Miss Tiffany, do you have the desire? Do you have the want? Do you have the need? Do you have the drive? Do you have the passion? Do you feel like this is something that you have to do? Do you feel in your heart that there's nothing more than you'd rather do than to feel and to listen to what messages come from the other side? And this is going to drive you into practicing and learning and practicing and learning. So and believing in yourself does not come. It takes a long time for you to believe in yourself. It's one of those impostor syndromes, and that's because of our ego. And you have to set aside that ego, and that's a huge part of mediumship. Setting aside your ego, the judgment and the criticalness, and the belief in yourself, and going with what you feel and trusting what you feel. And for me, feel, but hear and see. And allowing that ego to set aside, that is probably one of the most important aspects of any of this, is enabling all of that judgment, all of that second guessing and imposter syndrome to step aside so that it comes through naturally. It's not about you, in other words, Tiffany. It's about the client or the person who's asking. And we're working for spirit. And so we just do the best that we can for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Venus has. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry, Gerald. Go ahead.
I want to go back to that, because what's also important is the practice is really key. And part of that, you can do journaling. You can write down stuff, and you can look at it. You go, well, who said that? What was that? And part of that is that stream of conscious writing. It gives us permission to get our ego aside and to practice and allow that flow, to allow that flow. That's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Gerald.
That's okay.
Yeah. So Venus asks or says, I actually had my first and only clairaudient mediumship experience while in a chakra class of Jean's. I wasn't trying to connect, and it was totally unexpected. I was just taking notes in the class. So, yeah. Jean, do a lot of your students get that happening in your class?
I think that it's an opportunity when we can tune into our own energy, practice our focus and centering and activating our energy centers. It puts us in that altered state of consciousness, of awareness. And these things can happen. It doesn't always happen, but I promise you, it will happen more and more. The more you do focus and balancing and open awareness, it will happen more and more. And this is why I say it's very important. And, in the beginning, to activate your energy and move into an altered state of consciousness may take you 30 minutes or an hour of meditating before. And now that I'm practiced at it, my energy, my body, my spirit guides know that I can just use the zipper method and go from my root chakra all the way up and tell my spirit guides I'm ready to go, to come in to protect me, and all those. And it's within, less than 5 minutes of preparing. But the more you can center yourself, focus, and open up that awareness is really a large part of it too.
Yes. Gerald, have you had that with anybody that you've been working with, that open, like you seem to be like a conduit for them to open up?
Sometimes when I do tarot readings, tarot is oftentimes a connection. It's a key for me to be able to go into mediumship or channeling. And it's just a thing that I do. But I have had people who, when I've described someone who's made their presence known, they get that. And with one of my readings, I'm asking people to, well, you tell me what you're thinking. This is your time. Maximize it. And if this is not making any sense, tell me, because we'll just do something else. But oftentimes it's making it, well, and it's just like with anything, with learning a new skill and that imposter syndrome. Hi, my name's Gerald. I still have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But I mean, and
Yeah.
part of it is knowing that that's what it is, and understanding that that's my ego. And sometimes I've actually had to take myself out. I've had to go, you know what? I'm this is not the day for me right now. I'm struggling. And
Yes.
and that's courageous to be able to go, you know what? I'm not at my best.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
That's when I take
Absolutely.
like a month off and I go, I'm not doing any readings because I'm not feeling, I'm yeah.
Well, and also it's so important. I'm not a healthcare provider, but I'm thinking about people in healthcare. It's just like they're taking care of themselves. They're washing their hands. They're doing the right protocol. When one develops a protocol for themselves, Jean, I love the zip up. It's a great technique to get everything lined up. And that's just something to pay attention to. And that's where journaling and making notes about your experience can be extremely helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jean had mentioned something, was it yesterday? You were doing a show on talking about pendulums, and you're doing pendulums, and you were saying how you had asked your pendulum who you were talking to, like, who's talking through my pendulum. I did that with my channeling. I don't call myself a medium because I haven't practiced enough, but I do get channeled messages. And I was like, I really need a distinction between if it's actual, like a channeled message, or if it's me, like putting my opinions in something. So they said, you're going to have no feeling towards it whatsoever. So when I get a message, I have absolutely, like, it's like I'm blank. Like, I have no feeling. I have no judgment. It's just like, I have no connection to it at all. And that's kind of how it helped me kind of have more faith in my readings, because I was like, oh, I don't feel anything. So this is definitely not mine. And it helped me get more confident.
I have when I get somebody who comes in that I can feel their energy, and then sometimes it's words that I've never used or I don't use. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to say it anyways, but it makes sense to the person, but I don't have that control. So, it's like they come in when it is meant for people to get their messages. But so I just have a couple questions, but then I want to ask, like, where would we go to get some training, to follow up and get training on mediumship? But Venus, she carried on with the conversation, was when some random spirit came to me, giving me his name and the person who murdered him. I would love to be able to hear my dad or sister that well. Any comments on that one?
It's always hard to read for yourself. And yeah, it can happen, and it will happen. But it's about your trust in that it's your loved ones. And one way that you can build on your dad, your sister, is to ask them for signs, synchronicities, and/or numbers, and/or and whatever you do see, attribute it to them, give them the benefit of the doubt, and build upon that. And it'll help that connection and your trust in yourself. It's about us stepping out of our own way and believing it. That's a huge part of it.
I also think part of learning to be a medium is also being able to set boundaries of when you are available and when you're not available. And that's something that comes with some experience, because I think it's really important to If you've got something showing up and you don't want it around, that's something you want to, Gerald says you need to address that, because that's takes out of your free will, and I would use some caution around that.
Yeah. Because the very first time that I actually saw and actually got a message was actually from my half brother. He lived in India, across the world, and he came into my bedroom that I just moved into. Nobody knew where I lived, and he goes, I said, "What are you doing here?" Like, I literally saw him, and I go, "What are you doing here?" And he just told me, he goes, "Just tell Dad, I was here. I did what I had to do. Now it's for my time to go." And I was like, "What the heck?" And then next morning at 5 a.m, my phone is ringing to tell me that my brother had passed away in India. Like, talking about goosebumps. Like, and it would have taken time for somebody to go to a phone where he was to get the message to his family, and so they finally got a hold of my dad. So that's when I went, oh, okay, I heard it, I saw him. There is spirit that comes in, but so now that comes to where do we find to work on this special gift? Jean, you offer classes, is that correct?
I do not offer mediumship classes. I offer psychic classes. Mediumship is a huge endeavor. I would recommend Suzanne Giesman has beautiful classes. I also recommend James Von Prague is extremely thorough and has so much information out there. And also, I believe that Gerald and Val K. Do you still do your mediumship with Val K. Butterfly or dragonfly
Crystals?
It's an alchemy class. It's a manifestation, alchemical manifestation class, and we're doing another one in March. So it's not mediumship, but I would say if you are looking for someone and you are noticing online people who are offering classes, go look at videos of the people to see if their teaching method or if their energy feels like it connects with you. I'm also a person who, if you can connect locally with people, that's even better, in my opinion, because then you have a resource. But I don't teach it. For some reason, I thought you did, Jean, and now I'm a little sad because I think you would be very gifted at it. So,
thank you. If I did anything, I would have to do a year-long mentoring. It really is that much in depth. I couldn't faithfully say I could teach you how to be a medium in 2 hours. You just can't. I mean, even the psychic stuff is a continuous, one exercise or one technique and practice it, and the practicing is really where it's at. And after the classes that I took, we practiced. I had my own practice group with a lot of the students that were in the classes back in when, COVID time. And I had practice, and we would practice once a week at least. And it was through that practice that I developed. And you don't get it every time. People are like, nope, that doesn't resonate with me. One time somebody said, I want a message from my nephew. And I said, he's a little rough and tough, right? Like, she's like, nah, he's a little bit like clean cut. So I'm like, okay, let me see. So I asked the rough and tough guy to step aside, and I'm tuning in again. I'm trying to tune into her nephew. And I said, does your nephew like to ride motorcycles? He's showing me motorcycles. And she's like, no. And then she said, oh, that's my brother. And my brother is rough and tough and like to ride motorcycles. And her brother had such a heartfelt message to tell her that was so important. And then as soon as the brother came through, and I'm getting chills right now, as soon as the brother came through with that important message to apologize for leaving her with all the mess in her hands or whatever it was so he needed to let her know. And then the nephew was able to come through and give her a message. But there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of, and sometimes you just have to do it in order to learn about it. And practicing and having these experiences through practicing will help you to build and to develop your own skill and your own techniques yourself.
It's funny you mentioned Suzanne Giesemann, because I purchased, she has a, on HemiSync, she has meditations. It's the binaural beats where it's kind of, and she has a meditation like training like set that you can get. And that, when I listen to it, it opens me up like so easily. Just that I don't like meditations. I'm not really good at it. I just have a hard time following other people, but her mediumship training ground HemiSyncs are awesome. Like, I just have to say, they really just kind of, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that binaural beats going through your brain and activating it, but those are awesome. If anybody's interested in trying them out, they really get you in that relaxed and open state.
I just had a question, or a comment was from Sue Toffee. She's saying one day when she was doing a chore, just cleaning, not thinking of anything, she heard her past mama call her Sue. Without thinking, I called out loud back, "What?" Looked around and remembered mom was gone. I know I've had that before many times where I hear my mom. I still do. I know when she calls my full name, I'm in trouble. But it's like, any comments on that one? Like, like, why do we hear that? Like, that's quite common for a lot of people.
I think part of it is because we're not thinking about it. We're doing something routine. It's like the binaural beats. It helps to get our state in a different space. So that idea of doing some repetition, I'm knitting, I have these thoughts, I'm doing stitching, I'm having, I'm open because I'm not thinking about it.
Because you're like on autopilot almost doing these things.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Jean?
Well, I don't know for sure, but when I hear my name called, what it tells me is that they are making sure that the connection is open and that I'm able to hear them, and that my response, and they could have been, it's like tuning a radio. They could have been on a different frequency saying, Jean, she can't hear us. You guys change the frequency. Then they change the frequency and they say, Jean, and I go like this, and they're like, that's it. That's the frequency, So I feel like they're working on developing a way to communicate with all of us, with each one of us individually. And the more open that we are, and especially when you hear your name, either when you're going to sleep or when you're waking up, that's in that intermediate kind of a state of consciousness. That's when it happens. And that's where I like to try and move when I do my readings and things, is in that altered state of consciousness where I just set everything else aside. But I feel as though it's them finding out if we're aware, if we're awake, if we can hear them, because I do feel as though there's going to be a day where they're going to be letting us all know and start talking to us all, and it through that frequency. That sounds really far-fetched, but that's what I believe.
When you said tuning in that dial, Linda D. Gonzalez put a comment in. I'm trying to find it, but she said that earlier, that it's like tuning in that dial and getting into that frequency. So is there any special audio stuff that you listen to prior to you starting a session with your mediumship at all?
Gerald, do you want to take that one?
One of the things that I do is I have meditation music that works for me because it's a meditation that I've done for a long time. What it does is it just energizes the energy around me and makes me more linked in. It's like the idea of ritual, doing something over and over and over again is extremely powerful. I grew up going to Catholic Mass, And frankincense is one of those things that's a very powerful scent for me. And before I sit down and I do any readings or any shows, I'm burning frankincense because it gets me in that mood, gets me in that mode. Before I do any sort of ritual or magic or anything like that, I'm doing that. I'm also making sure that I'm protected. I've got my boundaries set. Anything you want to add to that, Jean?
Yeah, I think it's important. I remember back when I was first starting and Medium Kim was teaching us, and I used to listen to like the Rocky theme and Sarah Bareilles' Brave, and anything that is like, or Kelly Clarkson song or a Queen song or whatever it is, but that Rocky song, that really does energize me and raises my vibration and makes me happy, hopeful. And it's about me raising my energy. And that's what taught me that it's important, not only what I listen to, but just the fact that I raise my energy. And in the same breath, but conversely, it's important not to have any fear, not to have any doubt, not to have any judgment, because those things will keep you from the ability to connect faster than anything. And it really is a choice. And this is why when we listen, there's a song, Spirit in the Sky. And, I don't remember the words, but it's a cool song. And I was listening to the Rocky theme, and then Spirit in the Sky came through. And then somebody asked for a message from her brother, and she's like, wait a minute, I just remembered we played that song at his funeral. And for some reason I had hit my headphone and it changed channels, and that's why I heard it. It was like the most synchronistic, unbelievable things that have happened to me. But this is, you guys are all bringing me back to the very beginning of when I was starting and how to start. So that it's a beautiful memory.
You brought up that beautiful thing, synchronicities. I think, when I'm doing mediumship, the synchronicities, it's just like, okay. But also, as Jean said at the beginning, it's the synchronicities that our loved ones are using to get our attention. It's like, okay, there we go. So yeah, I love that.
I like the point that both of you brought up. It's individual. Yes. What gets you prepared might be completely different than what someone else does, just because it's what makes you feel good. Like for me, I like 80s metal. It energizes me. It's the weirdest thing. And I like depressing music, like The Cure and Depeche Mode. I've got a goth vein in me too. And my son's like, why are you listening to that depressing stuff? He likes it too now, but I was like, it makes me happy. I don't know why, but it makes me happy. It puts me in a good mood. It does the opposite of what it does to other people. So what you listen to, what you resonate with is going to be very, very personal. So if you say, like, don't let anybody think your ritual is weird. If that, like, don't let anybody have any opinions on what you need to do to prepare, because it's yours. It's personal. It's just for you.
I love the idea. It's as if people think your ritual is weird, that tells me you're doing it correctly.
Exactly. It's funny because I have the same song as Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum. But when that comes in, that tells me that Spirit is stepping in now, and there's messages that are going to be whipping in. Oh, and it's like, get ready, because it's not going to stop for a while. So, yeah, when it says Spirit in the Sky, it's like, okay, get ready. And it's, it's like, but it always puts me in a great mood too. So how the music, how it makes you in a great mood, and that lifts your vibration. Like Jean, you were saying, like it just brings you up to that, brings you higher.
Altered state of consciousness.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at the time. Would this be the time?
Was that the last question? I think there was one more question.
Oh, was that? Yeah, let me just have a look. Sorry, I will bring it up on our banners. And oh yeah, here we go. So what are the ethical boundaries of mediumship?
I always like to bring this question up when we do shows because I think their boundaries are important for both the sitter and the reader.
Mm-hmm. Well, so a lot of people, they come with the right intentions, and they ask, they have a loved one who's lingering on their deathbed for the last 4 years, and they are exhausted and they don't know what else to do. And they want to know when their loved one is going to pass, just to have peace of mind. And I cannot tell them that. And even if I could, I wouldn't. It's not my place to tell them that. And there's no way, there's so much free will. There's just some information that is not accessible. And then if you want to go into ethical boundaries on YouTube, we don't do third-party readings, and we don't do, it's about, if the information that you want from your loved one, about the will or about the money or why did they leave me this, it has to come from a loving, something that's going to be in your highest good, that's going to benefit you. And when it goes into the money or into the greed or into the, well, so-and-so got this and did they take more money and why did they, it's really just, gets into that situational and the appropriateness, and a lot of people do worry about that, the belongings and what's left behind, and trying to ask their loved one about that. And they tell what they've told me, just as a blanket, is it's like a Monopoly game to them. And after they pass, they just close up the board game, put the lid on it, and slide it under the couch, because it's meaningless. It's not theirs. It didn't mean anything. And, they don't want their children or their loved ones who are left behind to fight over it. And it's just, they want them to cherish and value the relationship and the love and the connection. And, if you ask them that, it lowers the energy, and it's just really hard to go through that. So that's where my boundary is.
I've done shows on ethics, and I think the ethics are very important, regardless of what type of work you're doing, mediumship, tarot. You have to have ethics, and so for me, I think it's part of it is you need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you need to be very clear with yourself. I think it's very important to always check in periodically with yourself. Am I still holding true to my ethics and my world and my personal expectations? I think that's a really important thing. Boundaries for mediumship. Medium Betsy Palmer has always said that this is a volunteer position. So if you don't want to do it, just set that boundary. I have a lot of boundaries personally for when I'm reading online, to where it's got to be okay to say it in front of everybody, since it's a public reading, because I don't want to air anybody's dirty laundry. I'm not doing that. And if I think somebody's trying to, good luck, because I've got my firm boundaries, and you're going to bounce off of them. I'll say that. Because that's me, and I start with me, and that's really key. I think if anybody's looking at their own boundaries for mediumship, understand the ethics of yourself, what's true for you, and start softly and expand it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I also think just going to go back to what Gerald said. If you're not getting a message, don't make one up. If you're not getting a message, just say, I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you. Because that's the hardest thing to do as a reader, is to say, it's almost like you're failing. You kind of feel like if you're not getting anything. So if you're not getting a message, just be honest about it and say, sorry, I'm not getting anything right at the moment, instead of trying to like fumble through something. That's really important too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I see Linda de Gonzalez is, she wants me to do another show on ethics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important because I think a lot of people don't, if they're going to get a reading, they don't even think about it. The ethical parts on either side, like how they should have boundaries, and then they should also allow the reader to have boundaries. A lot of people just think, I'm just going to get a reading and it'll be great.
Well, and I like what Linda is saying, because that's a key point. A lot of times when people are coming to us for a reading of some nature,
Mm-hmm.
they're already in a level of distress. And so there are people who may take advantage of them. I'm not one of them, and I don't, so just pay attention to that. So, but yeah.
So one time I had somebody ask for a message from their father. And one of my techniques is to imagine all of the male loved ones to be in like a ball stadium, where you would walk through and like push the seat down before you would sit on it, like a ball stadium. And then in the ball stadium, there's like dugout kind of things where you go to the bathroom and you go and get refreshments. And I called for her father to come in, and I was waiting for him to stand up and come walking down, and nobody was there. So for some reason, my attention was brought into one of those dugouts where the bathrooms are, and I went there and I saw him sitting in the dugout, cross-legged, like meditating like this, and he was just sitting there with his eyes closed. And he's like, I'm trying to connect. I can't talk to you right now. And so I said, your dad's not wanting to talk to me. He's praying. He's meditating. She's like, that is exactly my father. He did that all the time. She was like, that's him. And he would not break his meditation, because I think he was like either chanting or something, like trying to do it. And I've never had that experience before. And then I also had somebody who refused to talk to me, and they had their arms folded and they had their back to me like this, like, I don't know who you are. So what I did was I called my father, who was in spirit, and asked him to connect with his spirit guide, or this gentleman, and to tell him, look, she's here waiting to hear from you, and this woman is here to talk to her for you. So do you want to come and talk to her? And he did come around, but it was a little bit more of a reluctancy. But if you feel as though you see somebody and you think it might be them, but they're not coming forward or talking to you, it's important for you to trust that. And sometimes they're just not able to talk to you. Sometimes they just want to emote a feeling and just sort of give a overall kind of well-being kind of feeling. And I'm not sure if that where that frequency is, or where it is on their part, where it is on my part, but just understanding that to get the information and to describe what you're feeling. And sometimes just in that, it helps them, it doesn't always have to be, like a conversational word kind of thing. Like that hug, Marilla, right? I described a hug from her late husband. And she said he did that all the time, the kind of hug that he embraced her. And then, it was just lovely, lovely.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
And you can see you still feel that, Jean, just by the way you were explaining it. So, it's like, and that's the thing for being the medium, being the one in between, is just sometimes that emotion that you you get from both sides. It's just like it's like their hearts are joining inside of you sometimes.
I have to feel it to express it. So they're showing me how they feel, and I am feeling it, and I express it. So it is a beautiful place, and it's genuine for sure. Mm-hmm.
And while we still have a moment, I want to thank all of the moderators. I cannot thank you enough for being here, posting everybody's channels. Thank you so much. We really, all of us really appreciate you all. So thank you.
Yes, you guys are amazing.
Yeah. So
are we ready to pick our winner? We have 20 entries.
Yes. So if you want in on the lucky draw, only one person will win a reading today. If you want to put in hashtag spirit and to get your name in, and we will be drawing for one lucky person to get a reading from both Jean and Gerald, if you are both willing to do so. And we thank you so much for today as well. It's
Lakeside Laura, it's hashtag. She had like a dash. Do hashtag spirit.
Hashtag spirit.
You got it. Yeah.
Yay.
And we're doing
this
the
was
reading
so
live.
fun. Oh my goodness.
We're doing the reading live today. Okay, good.
Yeah.
This was
live
so
today,
fun.
and you have to be here to win.
Yes, have to be here to win. All right. Let's see. We have 28. So I'm gonna pop it up, and we'll see who the lucky winner is.
This is a great time that everybody can like and subscribe to all of the channels. Links are below, everybody.
Yeah.
Lori, 2026. Yay.
26.
Oh, 26.
26 is supposed to be a really lucky number. Extremely lucky.
All right, Lori, are you here? Yay. Are you here?
Lori, where are you?
We'll just give
Okay,
a
and
minute. Yay, Lori's
there she is.
Oh, that was loud. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I get loud and animated.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
So
no, never. Not Gerald.
Would Lori be able to tell us who it is that she wants to connect with?
Yes. Yes, please put the name of the individual you would like to connect with in the chat, Lori, please, and we'll pop it up on the screen.
And their relationship to you will help.
Yes.
This is one of the drawings I wish I was in.
Well, Gerald and I do mediumship only shows. We do many shows with Wisdom Seeker Joan and others. And okay, her dad, Donald.
Do you do the show regularly?
Yes, monthly.
Mm-hmm. Is it on a specific day?
No.
No, just monthly.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So hit your notifications so you don't miss out on those shows, because they are super awesome to watch. They're super fun. And just the feeling in that show is amazing.
So the first thing he showed me was a menorah. Does that mean anything to you? I do see like a white mustache. Did he ever wear a mustache? And did he have a lighter, grayer hair? He's showing me gloves. I don't know if he did like heavy work outside that he would need to wear gloves that sort of came past his wrist. I guess you could use them for barbecuing, but I think you could use them for outside work as well. No mustache. Does any of the other information come through?
Because I was also wondering, the gloves is something. I got very distinctive hands. There's something about his hands. They look like they've done some work. So, nope.
It's all right. We're just tuning in. Like I said, there's a party line, and let's get a little more specific.
Lori, did because I'm also getting the sense of like shuffling cards. I'm seeing somebody shuffle cards, and I'm also wondering if he was a smoker, like cigars, sort of a distinguished smoker. So, factory work, military, Lori said.
I'm seeing mushrooms. Did he like the outdoors and sort of working and building and creating? Like, did he? I do see him being creative and a little more quiet, but liking to do outdoor work is what I see him doing. Cigars with the guys, Gerald, she said. Yes. Mm-hmm. Good. And I guess the menorah didn't hit at all.
I also see him, he's got like a handkerchief that he's like wiping his hands off. It would be something that if he were working on a car, or there's some like oil or some sort of grime on his hands, that he always had a handkerchief, something to clean his hands off because of the nature of the work. Was he a good storyteller, or when he was hanging out with the guys, they like to swap stories and do that sort of thing?
He's also showing me himself in the kitchen, like doing domestic cooking or cleaning. Like some men just, or some dads really, take a strong interest in this. I do see him shuffling around a little bit. I'm not sure if he had a physical decline before his passing. I do see him being very sweet in his heart and very kind. And I almost feel like a little bit of a pain very deep inside of his eyes. And it's almost like he had some sort of a trauma early in his lifetime that just changed him, and he was never the same again. I do feel as though he did struggle a little bit here in this world to emote and to communicate.
He did cook.
He did cook. Okay. I was just picking up a feeling of, he did the best that he could, but he was never quite happy with the way things were. And I think that this bothered him. Like he always had a wish that things would be different. And I know that he had moments and bouts of time that he was happy and content, but I do feel as though he always wished things were different. And I'm not sure where this came from. But I just feel like, he had Parkinson's. Yeah. I did see him shuffling around a little bit, just a little bit. But it's almost, he wishes his opportunities would have been different. But he did the best that he could, and he forged on, and he never let you see him that way. But I feel as though I just feel like he was almost like behind the 8 ball his whole life, like trying to reach success or reach happiness or reach a comfortability that he was not able to achieve. I'm not sure if that makes any sense to you, Lori. Let me just see if he wants to tell you anything.
Along the lines of what Jean was saying, he was behind the 8 ball, a day late, $1 short. He tried. He also was. It felt like, Lori, he was trying to not make it seem to you like you didn't have everything everybody else did. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. He was doing the best that he had. But that's a lot of times what people will do. Okay, Lori said yes. He also keeps showing me some sort of a recipe. He's pointing at it, and he was very pleased with this recipe. I don't know what it is, and I'm like going, is it barbecue? And he's not telling me. And is it macaroni and cheese? Is it not telling me? I'm not sure if it's the grill, or he did something with the grill, but he used to make something that he made pretty frequently that he really liked, and he's encouraging you to, if you can make it, because that would be a great honoring for him. If you were to make it, that would be like saying his name, which is powerful.
Very true, Gerald. Very true. So I just have a little message from him. He's asking that you consider being grateful for what you have, and life is worth living and being grateful for what you have. And it's worthwhile going through those lessons. It helps us to grow. No matter how dire, no matter how compromised, no matter how much you don't see yourself achieving, it's really important for you to appreciate what it is that we currently have at this moment and to be grateful for it, because it is not in your highest good to put yourself down or to point out the things that you don't have. It is always in your highest good to be grateful and to focus on the things that you do have, and to, be grateful for the life that you do have. And I feel as though he may have wished that he saw the value in his own life exactly the way it was, and not hoped that things would be different. And it's always in hindsight 2020, but he just wants you to know, when you get to the other side, it's not going to make that big a difference. Just enjoy what you have and make sure you're grateful, because it's all worthwhile. And don't worry about, don't sweat the small stuff. And he just wants to give you that little hint. And she says, beef stroganoff, and we just made it the other night. He's with you. Wow.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I think going along with what Jean was saying, the idea of make the best of what you have and fancy it up. Add that little sprig of parsley to it, just to elevate it to that next level. It's like the best thing about chicken soup when you're sick is the fact that mom made it and it's filled with love. That's, got me really emotional. He tried to do everything with love that he could. And I mean, that's really powerful. So,
that's beautiful. Can I add something? When you said spruce it up with a sprig of parsley. This mustache thing, Jean mentioned the mustache. I think he spruced up his looks in the afterlife because he always wanted the mustache. that's like, because the whole time I was like, I agree with Jean and the mustache for some reason. I think he's trying it out.
Wow. Thank you, Lori.
Yeah, thank you, Lori.
Well, thank you both, Jean and Gerald. That was really touching, that connection and the, you know, spruce it up. I just heard this pizzazz. Like,
yep.
But it was Gerald with the fan.
I'm also, and I'm just curious, Lori, if he had some accident with his hands at work. Because I keep seeing his hands. They're very distinctive, worn. You know, they've lived a life, and the life has stories. But I'm also wondering if he was missing a fingernail, tip of a finger, if he had some scars, something like that. Because I keep seeing these hands. So, but just wanted to toss that out there, Lori. Thank you.
Wow.
That was amazing. She says, thank you all for everything.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
This was so much freaking fun.
It was.
This was so fun. I absolutely loved spending time with you guys today and everybody in the chat. This was amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm like going to go and dance around the kitchen when we're done.
I like that.
This was wonderful. Thank you again. And that's also a learning thing, is that, you know, like watching you as mediums doing your thing is like you were getting different images, etc. And it's like, and it's okay to let the medium know that, no, it's not a hit. Like, that's not, yeah. So it's because then that you tuned in even further, and then you really got Dad, because it could have been somebody else coming in as well saying, but I want to talk to somebody else. Right?
Yeah. Thank you, Lori.
I wonder if it has to do with the Parkinson's, and that's why it maybe affected his hands in some way. And that's what you kept seeing.
And, or maybe it's a grandfather or somebody that he's over there with. He wants to communicate this for some reason. So if it's not your father's hands, is there somebody in your family or somebody that you know that has an issue with your hands? Because you can say, well, it's not him, but my brother has something, you know, or his brother had something. Like there's always a reason for the message that's coming through. So wherever you can place that, and it could be for somebody else here in the chat as well. Just because we're in a public forum, that sometimes does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jean, Gerald, what do you guys have coming up? We'll start with Jean. What do you have coming up next week? I guess we'll go next week, because you're probably got a lot coming up.
Yeah, let me get to the right month. 1 second. So, yeah. So on Sunday, the 22nd, I have a solo show that I'm going to be posting at 12 noon. And then I also have my psychic study practice group that if you want to go to my website, sunpsychicjean.com, and go to the events page, you can read about the psychic study practice group, where I do a meditation to help us focus and center our energy. And then I teach a technique or or something to practice or exercise. And this is psychic. And then we go into breakout rooms and we practice. So it's always a lot of fun. And that will be on Sunday. And my practice is on 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. And then after that, I will be on Friday, the 27th. I have Val from Illumination Portal. And then I have also my friend Bridget Ross, and she's a light language healer as well, on Friday. So Friday, Sunday, and then Friday.
Nice. Wonderful. And her class, the psychic session is a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Gerald, what do you have coming up?
Well, tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, I have a caffeinated and an unfiltered with a triple X version with Allie from Heart and Soul Connected and Linda de Gonzalez. So it's going to be extra bitter. It's going to end with extra sweet and extra caffeinated. So, and then I've got some great shows scheduled for next week. I'm encouraging everybody to subscribe. I'm also trying to do regular short form videos so people can see that. And I'm usually asking a question because I want to know what people are thinking. Just the one yesterday was about, it was very windy yesterday. And I'm like, what sort of magic would people do during wind? What might they do? And I'm just curious. So it's great.
Oh, have you ever talked to the wind, Gerald? That's a whole nother show.
Oh yes. I have whispered to the wind. I have yelled at the wind, and I have spoken gently with the wind. So yeah, it's fascinating.
It's a beautiful gift. It's quite unique.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, wind is very powerful. It is. Sometimes you just got to go and spin around in it and just do. Yeah, wind is amazing. Except for when you're sitting in your house and it shakes your whole house, so you think you're having an earthquake. That happens here a lot.
Yeah.
Donna Marie, what do you have coming up?
What do I have coming up? I have with messages from heaven with Jenny. That's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. I think that's the time. Sorry. Let me just double check. It is at 9 a.m. Yeah, and 11 or 12 p.m. Eastern. And that is Jenny's coming out and she's doing the oracles and the rods if she wants. And I'm excited to have her on. And then I think the next week I'm going to be doing I'll be coming on live on my own. I don't know what day yet. I just have to see what my schedule is. But I just want to say too, with anybody, if you have a chance to even go into Jean's practice sessions that you offer, Jean, I've been to one and for a few weeks, and they're a lot of fun, and you get to practice your psychic abilities and it's a lot of fun. So definitely check out Jean's site and also Gerald's page channel. Yeah, thank you. And then of course I have.
Go ahead. Sorry, Donna.
March. We have. And Sarah, what do you have going on?
I was going to say what I love about the practice sessions and groups is you get to meet so many wonderful people. Like people you're like, oh, I've seen you in the chat. I've seen you. Like it's just such a wonderful feel. I love that. I love that. Oh, I have a link on my page. Gerald has some pretty awesome merch that you can go and purchase.
And just recently added V-front t-shirts because that was a request. And I'm like, okay. Your wish is my suggestion.
Yes, he has some pretty awesome merchandise. Some of the t-shirts are so fun and amazing.
And
for me, I have a bunch of live shows.
Purchase responsibly, know your limits. We're here to share, not to sell.
Yes.
My favorite still has to be the cactus. I love the cactus.
Yeah.
I have somehow wound up with a really busy week. So I have live shows. I'm live with Scott on tomorrow, Sunday. And then I'm doing Twin Tower Tuesday with Judy on Tuesday at 1 Pacific. And then I have, I'm helping Deb Zachow behind the scenes with a couple of her shows, one on Tuesday and then one on Wednesday. So check them out. They're going to be pretty awesome shows. And then I will be with Allie on Friday at 2 Pacific. We're going to be talking about Reiki and reading cards. And then I will be doing a live show on Saturday with Linda from Butterfly Readings. We get together and do readings and celebrate friendship. It's just about coming together with people you love and just having a good time. Yeah, that's my week. And then the following week on Friday the 6th, I will be hosting Jean. I'm super excited for that.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. I'm super excited for that. So subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss out on the show. It's going to be so awesome.
And anybody who's watching on my channel, please do go over to Tara Stash, Sarah Hibiscus Healing, and Donna Marie. Tell me the healings,
Healing Readings by Donna Marie.
Healing Readings by Donna Marie. All of their links are in the show notes below. Please do go over and subscribe because we're all going to be doing shows together and you're going to want to get that notification.
That's right.
Yes, you are.
Yes. Yeah. And I just wanted to add, I think my next live that I do after Sunday is that I'm actually going to be doing some energy work. And because we've just had some major planetary things happening, I'm going to be doing some clearing and starting to open people up because there's some heart wall work to do out there. So if you're having things that are not working for you, that you're not getting that job, you don't, that kind of stuff, there's some clearings that I'll be doing for individuals while I'm live. Because right now is like, this is the time. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do when you grow up? Because this is the time.
I want to go run in the wind with the leaves.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Listening to the Smiths.
Yes. Oh, my husband hates the Smiths. I love the Smiths. So it's always a fight when they come on. But you know what he did for my birthday? We went and saw Morrissey and he hated it the whole time. But it was something he did for me because he loves me.
Nice.
But yes, listen to the Smiths. I like that.
This has been fun. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, thank you so much. This is amazing. I guess this is the end. I hate endings. They're always so awkward. Because I never want to say goodbye. But yes, thank you so much for joining us. We will have another episode of the Lightworkers Lounge next month. We're having Kelly Healer, and Annie Bear will be our guests, and we're going to be talking about crystals, different ways to use them, our favorite ones, how you pick them, just anything crystals, because they're just so much fun. And so we'll be doing that next month. Yeah, that's it. And I look forward to watching everybody's shows. Tonight, I'm going to get sassy with Gerald and Allie and Linda de Gonzalez. So I hope to see everybody in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to get a little bit of that sass tonight because, you know.
Well, also, Deborah Zachow's on with me on Monday afternoon. And we're also going to be a little sassy and caffeinated and unfiltered.
Nice. That's going to be awesome.
And when you brought up Annie Bear, I am going live with Annie Bear on the 25th of March.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that because she's just lovely.
Yes, that's awesome. Yay. Awesome. All right. Well, this is goodbye. We will let our guests go. They have things to do. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.